Hello people, we are back. We are back. We are back in live. Hello people. How are you today? Just advertising on the typical channels like Facebook, and I advertise already a bit in the chat, IRC, and similar ones. Hey, thanks for joining. So I created a Discord server that maybe we can use. I don't know if it's better than the chat. In this chat, maybe it's better because it's a bit more evoluted. So maybe you can also post links or images or whatever you need, and it could be a bit easier to use, right? So I can send an invite, and you can try to see if it's good for you. There is the URL. If you have a Discord. Hello. Okay. Yes, I just created this Discord channel and just advertised it in the chat. I don't know if someone wants to join, but if you want to join, you can chat by text or you can chat by voice. You can speak with me. You can say we can proceed together in what we're doing. Okay. So the good news is that off stream, I managed to migrate Unreal Engine to the latest release. The reason being that we wanted to have a slightly more updated version of Unreal. So now we have it. The current release that we are using is 4.18.3, right? Dash release. Why dash release? Because it's a tag in the Git repository that you can use to download exactly the version that I have. Okay, and we are officially, let's say, upgrading our source code and everything to this release, right? So if anyone can want to help and want to contribute, you should get exactly this release. So 4.18.3 release. How to do it? I mean, if you scroll down in the wiki, you will see there is update Unreal Engine and Git commands, and this gives you a bit of the commands that you need to use to update. Basically, the main one is this one. So it's this git checkout 4.18.3 then dash release, okay, which gives you this thing. So I see someone joined. Hi. I see 72. I see you joined. I don't know if in this way you hear me twice. Could be. Maybe I can mute my. I don't know how to do. Maybe I mute me. I mute myself on Discord, I guess, right? So at least you hear me once only, one time only. Or I do the opposite. I mute me on the stream and we go. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, if you can type something in the chat, you should be able to type in general. We should be open to anyone. If I let me check, but I think it should have everyone should have a permission to type. No, it's not. Okay, sorry, I'm enabling it now. I'm enabling read message, send message. I'm enabling links, files. I don't know, maybe files not. And that's it. Okay. Okay. So now general should be open to anyone. So if you test it and just type something, I mean dev only is restricted, but general should allow anyone to type, right? Anyone to say anything he wants. Yes. There is the channel. So you see it here, and you see a bit of the text. Yes, you can type. Perfect. Nice. Good. So yes, we upgraded to 4.18.3 release, right? So this board we want to use from now on. So if you are creating graphics or you're doing changes to the game somehow, you should do it in this release or earlier. But obviously, if you do it earlier, I can upgrade it. But then when it's upgraded, you will probably not be able to read the game. So that's the trick, you know. You should should do that. Okay. So where we left yesterday. I think yesterday we did something good. We fixed the database connection for the character, so the character can now let's say connect. Right? Can now read the data from database as his own coordinates, so as the proper coordinates on screen. And I mean the proper position on screen on the map, and also we get from the UI we get printed out, let's say, some of his information. Now we have to decide what to do now. So if we want to what we want to do, if we want to expand. So do you have any preference, a suggestion, or what we should do next? Very interested to know if you have any suggestion on what you think we should really do. In my point of view, I think the best feature that we should get is the talk interaction. So being able to, we prove now that we can send back and forth messages, and we can load information from the database. The one I really wanted to do is to have the NPC actually answer to my hi, and then get back a real message, right? So to do this, let's just review quickly where we left. So if I click, let me just launch the client and the server. I will show you, so I give you a bit of context of what I'm saying. If I go under my Unreal projects, PS Unreal. By the way, we should also maybe explore a bit the new new version. I mean, just to see what's new compared to what we used in the previous versions. I think there should be something more for us, right? But let's launch the server and the client first and see, first of all, if everything works after the upgrade to the engine. Actually, I tested it already, so I've seen that it was working properly. I've seen that it was recompiling a lot of shaders, so there was a long list of shader recompilation while I launched the game. By the way, I also tested Crystal Hunt, so I recompiled Crystal Hunt in 4.18. So now Crystal Hunt is also updated. There was just few differences, I mean small changes that I had to do to the target files, the target.cs, but for the rest it was pretty much you see what the server is doing. This thing, it was not doing this before. New level streaming request level, and then it's kind of requesting all the levels in the map. Interesting. I don't know why. Anyway. And you see it's also compiling shaders much more than before. You see, compiling shaders 529, so it's still compiling. We successfully joined. Now I don't know what the client is doing. Missing cache shader map for material, boom 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 boom. You see, is recompiling all the shaders. I don't know if this may be, obviously when we release the game, I mean I don't mean release like 1.0, but I mean when we release a demo to anyone, we will cook the content. Cook the content means that he's preparing and packaging all the content, so the people will not have to compile the shaders. Hopefully, I hope so. So you see, we have 4,000 shaders to recompile, so he's doing it in the background. So it means that some of the graphics may show as not complete. It's possible. Yeah, one thing we want to fix is the fact that the character is flying. It's flying because yesterday we did some changes to the capture module, and we did some changes to the character, and so it's not touching the ground anymore. See, it's flying a bit. I think I will just restart the revert. Let's see the change. Also, we have some motion blur. I don't like motion blur at all, so I think we should disable it. You see the mountains on the back, which are without texture, because the shaders are getting recompiled. And the same for this part. You see this all gray. Okay, let's not go. Let's not go where the fountain is, because it's a real issue. But if you go here, you see the. By the way, what is this thing on the steps? You see here, this part means that the shader has not been recompiled yet. As soon as the shader will be recompiled, you will see the texture popping up. Okay, so it will be much easier. Just want to see if someone else joins the Discord. No, okay, so it's just people watching the live stream without. Okay, that's fine. Yes, and I think you can also avoid joining the audio. I think you can just join the general channel. I think if you are disconnected from, let me try if I can type when I'm disconnected. I'm disconnected from audio. Yes, I can still type in the chat of Discord if I'm disconnected from the audio, so it's not really needed, you know, that I'm there. Okay, nice. You see, this texture actually appeared right now in front of us, and this one still has to be recalculated. You see, so it is still under construction because it's one of the 1,500 that is getting recalculated right now by the engine, which is fine. I think we should place a light somewhere inside this thing, but if we go in a bit snaky and then our eyes are adapting to the lights, and then we finally see our NPC here, which is the Temorian lady, which is here. And yes, we can get the description. the description, if I click here, I will get a kind of a window with a lot of text. So I don't want to do it now. Then if I click on the talk button, at the moment, what we are doing, we are sending the message hi to the server, and then the server is just with a kind of a fake message for now, sending back the fact that say sending back a text message with the name of this character, right, which is just a fake name for now. So if I click here, I'm getting back my name is Lomillas. Okay, so these names, which is okay, but say this was a kind of a fake thing, so it's not really reaching the database, it's not really answering with the right name. So this is something that we have to develop tonight. Okay, so tonight we will try to finish this button so that I properly get the answer to my hi message. Will not be super easy because at the moment there are few classes, if I remember right, which were not ported and were responsible of the NPC interaction. Also, I think the problem was where did I want to store this information, if inside a character or kind of in a separate class, right? But I think my understanding of the engine improved in the last few days, so maybe now I have a better idea, right, on how to do this, right? If I go to the light, you see everything becomes black, and then my eyes adapt again. Okay. Yeah, for the people that are in the that just joined, hello, welcome. If you want, there is also a Discord channel. There is also a Discord channel that you can join, which is this one. You have the invite. If you want to type there, I don't know. Maybe in the future we will just use Discord, right? Maybe we just use Discord in the future instead of this chat. This chat of YouTube is not really good at the moment. Is so-so. It's not great. Okay, so let's see what we need to do to have this mouth icon actually properly send the message and get back an answer from this character. Right? Let's see what we need to do. If you just joined and you want to say hi in the chat, would be cool. So I know you are there, and I'm not speaking alone. So the thing we need to do, I think we can close the client. We don't need it at the moment. We can also close the server. We don't need it at the moment. We need our PS Unreal. With the function being called while was running, GB running one. I don't know. There is probably kind of a crash of the application on exit. Just because I Control-C the console, maybe it's not the best way to do it. Okay. There was also something we wanted to test because Matthias yesterday suggested a different piece of code, to a simplified piece of code for getting the capsule module, which is this part, right? For some reason, Unreal characters are positioned like the pivot point. The pivot point is in the middle of the character and not at their feet. So when you are spawning a character, it gets like out the ground, like inside the ground. And so yesterday we did quite some work to actually get, let's say, the capsule component, which is the wrapper, let's call it, the wrapper around the character. Calculate the height, which is actually here, and then when we when we position the character in the world, then we need to move it up by half of the capsule height. Okay, half of that value, that vertical value, half of it. So yes, hi Ricardo, welcome. So for this reason, we find some piece of code, and I think that we have a new piece of code, which is this one, which Matthias suggested to be simplified. So we can try this one instead of the one that I have, and see if we get the same result. Right? If we get the same result. So while liter component, component. So we don't need, I think, this piece anymore. let me see. The simplified code should get the class of my character, which in my case is this my blueprint class, right? Which in this case should be my blueprint class. So I don't even need this. I don't even need this line because I have it already. So it should be something like this. My blueprint class default object, and is getting a result, and then we cast this to a character. From a character we get a capsule component, and it is our alpha8. So if this is correct, all this can go away. All this can go away, and we can just have our capsule, this thing, right? Or we can just do it like this, which is even simpler, right? Just these three lines. Let's see. Character gets capsule component, gets capsule height. So we don't need this anymore. Oh, it's complaining about something. So let's ensure that character as. No, I think it's okay. It's just that the IntelliSense didn't yet go through it, right? It didn't yet go through the calculation. So let's try to compile it this way. By the way, I fixed a pretty big compilation problem yesterday, where I was having a big trouble in sorting out why some of my DLLs under binaries Win64 were not compiled properly, and then I think I sorted it out. So we were missing some declaration in the target file. Okay, so it says succeeded. I just want to see if what he did, if he really let me check. Let's check here. If he really recompiled everything, or he recompiled only. He recompiled only that one. So I'm always, yeah, this thing, I think I will have to ask Matthias again, because sometimes I'm confused about this thing. I mean, why I need to use one DLL or the other DLL. So let's see if this works. Let me just do one more test, because this Unreal PSUnreal.dll, okay, so it's something that in theory my target should automatically compile under build. If I go under source build, I should have yes, exactly, this client target. Let me just do something for just as an example, because so let's just create a temp directory here. Let me just move the PDB and this there. Okay, so we just, so they are not removed, so I don't have to recompile everything in case, but let me recompile now. I want to see which files are getting created, because the last time he was recreating only the, yeah, you see, he's recreating only the Win64 debug game.dll. He's not recreating also the other one, right? Hey Matthias, we're just speaking about you. We also created a Discord channel. I don't know if it's better for you, but maybe it's easier to chat there. You can also join only in text. Maybe it's easier to post links or to do other stuff. I don't know if you're already using Discord, but yes, we have a channel and you can connect. Yes, and it's not needed that you connect audio. You can just connect. Let me see. I think the text only is this one. Is the second one that I'm posting now. I wanted to ask you something. So here what I've seen is that I have two set of DLLs in this directory. Okay, so I have my EU4 editor PS Unreal, and then he has debug game and platform DLL, and then I have another one that now I deleted, but it's just called UE editor PS Unreal.dll. Okay, so this one get compiled when I compile my PS Unreal. The other one seems that it's getting compiled only when I rebuild all, or when I compile from the editor. Right? But the problem is that if the code is residing in two different DLL, I never know which one is the latest. Which one is the good one to use. And I think I'm using some old code sometimes. So I just deleted it now to do the test, and I was just checking again my target, this extra module name. So this line was the one that was messing me up the other day. So I created a new project from scratch just to see if in the new version, so source, there should be the build, no? The build.cs and the target. So the target, let me just double check. Is it identical to my PS Unreal target? So Unreal build tool generic, target rules, target info, base target is exactly the same. Game and editor, yes, but it's exactly the same. Okay, it's exactly the same. Okay, let me check just the debug one. Hey Andrew, nice to see you. So the build version is this one. I just want to double check that this is very similar to the one that I have in my project, because I think that we are migrating since I don't know, 4.12 or something like this, so a long time ago, and some of these project files remain the same, since very long time. And so I think we are bringing with us some old directives. So if I go under source PS Unreal and I open the build, where is the build? There is the build, Unreal build. Really? It's much more complex. Let me just double check the differences. Okay, so we have Unreal build tool and we have PS Unreal module rules, okay, which is the same. Then we have read-only target. For example, here we have a third-party path, we have a source path, we have use explicit or set PCH, which is not here, and here we have all this stuff, which includes the split of the MariaDB in the different targets. Okay, this I remember, I think I did it some time ago, was just to have all the MariaDB by platform. But basically the question is, why if I compile a new project I get the two DLLs, and why if I get, let's say, and why if I get the my old project I don't get the two DLLs, right? I don't know if you got the question, but basically I will show you. So here under my project 333, if I go under binaries, Win64, I get, now here I get, yes, I get my EU editor name of the project.dll, okay? While for some reason here in my current project I get this UE editor dash PS Unreal dash Win64. So basically this part Win64 debug game is added at the end. And you will see now that if I try to launch it, it will complain that PS Unreal editor doesn't exist. I think it would say it now. It doesn't. Okay. I don't know why I didn't do it. The last time it was saying that if the UA4 editor dash PS Unreal.dll was not existing. Okay, it didn't do it. So I think I don't have a question then, if it doesn't crash. Okay. Okay. The other thing that I did, I played a bit with Blender just to understand better. I'm getting a DLL for each solution you compile, editor, game, and server only. Okay. Right. But it seems to me that I was getting more. Maybe I just switched between game and not game. Could be. Could be. Could be that I just switched between the two and. Okay, so we don't need this. We don't need this. So let's go and continue and do the. So I tested your code, your new code, right? I compiled. Let me see if it works in game as well, which I think is much simpler than the previous one. 2 succeeded. Why is that the 2 succeeded now instead of 1? Let me check if he added any new library. No. Okay. Let's launch client and server and see. I think it should be fine. To test the new compacted code, the one that we have seen yesterday. Launching this, I'm launching the client. I think it would be nice to have a kind of a splash screen. Guest. Okay, let's go and check. By the way, it seems that the 3D sound is based on the camera position, is not based on the player position for some reason. So it doesn't count. Yeah, she's standing in the proper place, and she's standing also with her feet on pretty much on the ground. Well, I don't know, maybe not exactly, but pretty much on the ground. I mean, it's not on her. It's not really visible that she's flying a bit. She's flying just a little bit. For him, it's very evident. So one thing I would like to do maybe is to by the way, I quit the server? How do I quit the server? I mean, the only way is Control C, but when I do Control C now in the new version that we just upgraded 4.18, I always get this error and the window goes crazy. Before it was just closing properly. I don't know if there is some destructor that is not properly initialized. Could be, but. So I would like to just revert the crank character, because I think that the stuff that we did of moving him up or down made him fly. So I will just revert it, and I will just try again and see if this time is correct. And then we go for the chat, for the speak icon, huh? Because I want to do that. Absolutely want to do that. It doesn't change the position when he's here, but I think it changed the position. Okay, now it's perfect. Well, there's still a bit of ground, but I think it's how it was designed, so I think it's fine. I think it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Okay. That is great. Okay, let's go for the talk icon. Now the talk icon has few very important questions because if I remember right, the question was that I had, let me go back and check because I think I have an email where I summarized the problem pretty well. That I was exchanging with another guy. So the question was, this was the question. Let me, freak, is in another PC. I cannot copy paste between PCs, no, I cannot. But I can paste bin between PCs, maybe. Let me paste it here, make it expire in 1 day, and make it unlisted. Create the paste, and then go here on paste bin and take the email. Okay, paste bin is FKM WM AHZ, something like this. Yes. So the email was, hi, I've created the APS character class. It is a subclass of a character where my C++ code specific for the PS character. For example, I have skills, and other information. In the old engine, I had a structure to hold the NPC trigger and responses. Example, the trigger hide response hello, my name is NPC1, which was loaded only on the PS character present server side. So there is the point. Right? So previously we had server side stuff and client side stuff. Now we don't have this in the sense that the character, at least we don't have it on actors. Okay, so the actors are both client and server at the same time, and they are replicated. Right? This is my understanding. So before in the old engine, I was loading all this big structure of triggers and responses only server side. The reason is that obviously I don't want it client side, otherwise the people will be able to, let's say, list all the possible responses. If there is a quest, they can see all the possible quest responses, so they could basically cheat. Right? I want this data to be only server side. Now in a real engine, PS character is shared between the client and server, which means if I load the response inside PS character, I will have those also client side, exactly, which I don't want for security reason. Right? The question is, what is the best way to have this data only server side but still related to each NPC? One option I'm thinking is just to have a class loaded by game state which keeps the ID of the NPC and is then keeping all the data associated to the ID. Then the NPC will just query this class as needed. But this feels a bit not object-oriented model, right? So basically what I'm saying here is that I will have let me open a blank thing. So I have my client and I have my server, right? Server client, which by the way in Unreal, as we say, these are kind of shared. Okay, so then I have my let's say my PS character, which is this one, right? How do I do this? I have no idea. I had to do it before, and I had to choose a. Okay. There is my PS character, which is actually replicated between client and server. Right? This is replicated. So, and inside my PS character, in particular my APS character, which is the class which holds a lot of information, I have, for example, yes, guilds information, inventory. Yeah, right. The inventory is a good example. I have the inventory, and the inventory obviously I want it replicated both sides, right? Because it's needed to. So, so for example, here there is inventory, and inventory is replicated both sides, right? Inventory. But the point is, I don't know why I made server and client so big and so distant from each other. No idea. Now the point is that I have now NPC responses. NPC responses is basically few database tables where I have again hi. One guy says hi, and there is the trigger. And I have the same for the quests. The quests are the same. So NPC are loading in memory all the answers that they can give an answer to, and also all the responses, right, in a kind of a scripting way. And this part, I would like to have it exclusively on the server side. I don't want this to be on the client side. So here I will have I will have a few classes, few classes that are basically loading the content of NPC responses, NPC triggers, NPC trigger groups. So there is a lot of stuff that going on here. Like it says, oh, for the character number 4, if it receives a trigger which is about you, it will answer with a specific answer. No, and if I go here, ID 4 about you, and if I go to responses, then there will be, I don't know, trigger ID 4, and she will answer, I'm just a simple peasant. Right? That is the answer. But now obviously there is one, but they can be hundreds. And then the quests are done pretty much the same. So some NPC responses are loaded in. So I would like to have NPC triggers, NPC responses, and quests and quest scripts, or whatever it is. Let's say quest for now, only server side and not client side, so that when the client say so that the client cannot inspect this data. I mean, we are not sending this data to the client in any possible way, right? We are sending it only when a character says hi, then it says hi or about you, and then we are querying this stuff, and we are bringing back only the answer, right? So the only stuff that it goes between client and server is only the answer. So I'm a peasant, right? Okay. So unfortunately, the way it was in our code, is on PS character, but the PS character, remember, there was only server side before. So if I open the code and I navigate to my PS character, there is something that is called NPC. What is it? Wait a second. NPC. So APS character, and there is something that is called there is NPC. There was NPC something. No. Or NPC dictionary, NPC whatever. There was an NPC something here. I don't know if I removed it. There was a link. I'm pretty sure there was a link between. Let me try to remember. Because I could query this. So the character add the pointer to NPC dialogue. Exactly. To PS NPC dialogue. Let me just search PS NPC dialogue in here. Right. PS NPC dialogue. So this was the point. So it just takes me a second to remember where was the connection between the two. But I think it is a PS NPC dialogue. NPC dialogue. There should be a link in here, no? There is not. It's not in PS character. Wait a second. Load knowledge area. Let's see how it does it. Okay, so it queries everything. Knowledge area push. This is separate there, but the triggers. The point is. for example, if I go on PS character search knowledge areas, right? Knowledge areas, knowledge areas. There was a way, I don't know where is it. Get skill knowledge, get skill. No, it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Somewhere else. Somewhere else. Character loader. Character loader. I think in the character loader maybe it was loading. Load all NPC. Let me see if there is knowledge area here. Andrew, do you remember? I think you should remember. Where do we load this thing? Probably not here. Huh? Not here. Add NPC dialogue plugin if any knowledge error defined in the DB for him. Right. Setup dialogue. Here it is. This is the one that I commented. Now I remember. Okay, now I found it. So, so here, what was this thing doing? When we are loading the character, but remember that this code was only server side before, right? And now it's not. We were doing actor/setup dialog. Okay, so setup dialog is the keyword we have to search. So in our PS character, what is this setup dialog? Is in the actor, right? Ah, yes, was in gem actor. Yes, was in gem actor. Sorry, let's search it on the old code, because if we search in a new code, we would never find it, right? Setup dialog, you see, is on gem NPC. Gem NPC was the server side only class that was managing our NPCs. So inside of that, I had my setup dialog, which was creating a new PS NPC dialog, initializing it, and then loading into this gem NPC all the information, right? And then so in the old one, right? In the old one, this was gem NPC. This was gem NPC, which was keeping this formation where it was keeping it inside NPC dialog. So if I go in my gem NPC.h, it should be here somewhere. Oh my god, we just have a few imports, huh? Okay, it's easier to search it in bulk object and I arrive quicker. No, it's server, right? Gem is server. Gem, yes. So if I go here and I go inside my gem NPC, which is here, I have this one. I have inside of this class, I have an NPC dialog. So actually it was, let's say, gem NPC dot dialog. So this one was the thingy that was holding all the knowledge of the NPC server side. What are you saying, Matthias? That we can use something like that if getnet mode dedicated server. The problem is, does it get them replicated, right? So because what I don't know is if I do what you say, right, which is basically going here and putting if server, well, but this method is executed only from the server, right? So this method, character loader all NPC data is executed only on the server. The problem is that is loading data inside an APS character, which is then replicated to the client, right? And in fact, it works because we have seen that. Well, we actually never proven that it works, that it really replicates stuff. We never tested this, because actually what we do is to send a message to get the information, and then we get the message back. It is a very fundamental question that I have, and I don't know the answer. So in our so for example, here we are loading the character name, right? Here we are loading the character name. If I from the client through a button I do get name on the APS character, do I get that information or not? So basically, as soon as I load this information on the server, is it automatically replicated to the client, or I have to tell the engine to replicate what I want to replicate, how I want to replicate it? We can do a test. Unless you know it, I can do a test and figure out, right? And figure out if it works or not, because maybe it replicates only what I tell him to replicate, right? Let me think for a second. We have, so for example, here we load stuff, right? In our PS character, we spawn it. So we have a spawn. Where is it? By the way, we can remove this code, right? It's not new anymore. You can keep the new version. Here we load data into our NPC. So in the lady, right? We load data inside the lady. Right? And for example, we put in full name, race info, description, and such. This description is stored inside the character that we are spawning server side, which we see also client side, because when we do spawn actor, we see it both sides, right? My question is, the variable that I've set on my APS character with set description, is it available client side or not? You have to specify what and how information should be replicated. So by default is not, huh? By default is not. If by default is not, I think we are good. I mean, if by default is not replicated, and so I'm loading this data here inside my NPC dialog thingy, but it's not automatically going to the client, no, because this APS character, okay, is in common, but it's not that everything goes automatically left and right. Then it's good. Then we can do it. Then we can just load it server side, and in this part we will never replicate. Right? We will never replicate because we don't want it to replicate. We want the client to know only the answers. We don't want him to know all the questions. Make sense? I think it makes sense. So, well, if this is the case, I think it's a bit different from what I was thinking. Because I was thinking that the fact that the character was on both sides, I was automatically getting full replication of everything. How do I prove that this is really correct? So the easiest way will be when I'm on the client, after I have spawned my character and placed a specific description, loading this description on the character, I go only client side, clicking on, yeah, let's do this. So I clear out this dub from my mind forever, and then we are good. Let's do this. I don't need anything, I just need the editor, because actually the description is already there. So if I go to the editor, and when you click, hmm, so it's not replicated, you're saying. I have to specify what to replicate. So I have to add a variable basically to the character and then set it as replicated, and then it will get replicated. It's not that the object is really shared in reality. I mean, it looks like it's shared, but it's not, right? Is what you're saying. So if I go to my interact UI and I select the top icon, which is actually the attack, and I attach to this bind a new binding, okay, and I have here my thingy, right? And I want to take the selected character, which I have because the selected character is this one. I think I have to do again player controller, get controller pawn, okay, so yeah, I have to do all this thing again, right? But it's fine, no problem. So we do all this thing again, and we do all this, and basically we get the character that is selected by the player. Is selected to a kind of a proxy list, I mean a kind of a proximity, you know, because okay. Then this one is the selected, is the lady. This one is the lady, right? If I go here and cast it to APS character, can I cast it to APS character or not? Not the blueprint, the actual C++ class. Probably is this one. Probably is this one. So if I cast this to my C++ class, and then I do something like get description. Oh fuck! But get description is not. Get description. I cannot do it. Fuck. What is this? Get description. Read the value of the variable description. Description of the text. Where is taking this get description from? Like get OC description doesn't exist. Maybe it is just a functional text. Functional text. No, it is not. So I don't have any variable. I cannot get that variable, right? I cannot get that variable, basically. I cannot get it. I cannot get. Can I call? No, I have to make it u blueprint callable. Yeah, I have to make. One of the function like get name. No, like get description and the character. I have to make it. I'm just trying to prove a point, okay? So I don't know if it's really needed, if you're wasting time or not, but I'm trying to understand it better. So if I take, for example, get OC description, which cannot be confused with anyone else, or maybe get creation info. I think creation info we have something in the UI, right? Get creation info. If I make this one callable from the blueprints, so blueprint callable. Trigger a breakpoint on a client, inspect the character instance. Yeah, that's probably easier. You're right. That's much easier. Yeah, I will do that. It's much easier. Much easier. So we can do that. So trigger. So okay, this thing we just finished like this because maybe we don't need it, huh? I think we don't need it. Okay. So trigger a breakpoint on the client. The problem is where do I trigger the breakpoint? Where do I trigger the breakpoint? because I'm not calling a function. I'm not calling C++ functions from the client. I could call a dummy function, but we are back to base. I need a blueprint callable function, right? So in here, because everything is blueprints on the client at the moment. I'm not doing anything on the client which is C++ code. I'm only doing blueprints, and then when I need C++ code, I just go to the server. At the moment, I just go to the server, execute something on the server, and get back. But okay, I don't know. I can just trust the fact that it's not replicated, maybe. But I think it was interesting to. It was interesting to prove that. I mean, to check that that the APS character on the client was different than the APS character on the server. Like one has the description, and the one on the server has the description filled in. The one on the client doesn't have, unless I replicate or I send a message and I fill it in. Right? So, but I cannot call any of the functions unless they are blueprint callable. Right? I mean, I cannot trigger a breakpoint because I don't know how to do it. I mean, I don't have C++ code here, so I can debug the client and randomly stop it, but I can run the client inside Visual Studio and then randomly stop it, but I don't think it's a good idea. I don't have any entry point. I don't have any entry point. Yeah, let's make one function. It doesn't cost much, right, in terms of time. I can make one of these functions blueprint callable, right? I don't think it's a problem, right? So I just go here like get OC description. I make it similar to, for example, what I have here. Any of these ones, any of this, any of control, inside control, all this. U function, blueprint callable, blah blah blah. So it's just this, right? This is the only thing I have to do. This is the only thing I have to do. So I go here and I say U function, blueprint callable, category. In this case, it's test replication. Okay. So get OC description. Now I added a U function to this class. Now everything will be fucked up because this is not a U class, huh? Oh my god. I think it is not a U class. So can I have just a function if the class is not a U class? I get the answer is no. Oh wait. It is a U class, obviously. Ah yes, it is. Yeah, it is. We are fine. So let me try to compile this and see if he likes it. But I want to close the editor because the editor then is creating this hot reload thingy and I don't like it. Okay, let me compile like this and see if my character gets that function blueprint callable. So I hope it does. And I think we can use that function to debug the client in general, right? So we just click on we can just click on the attack icon and we stop. You know, we break. We have a breakpoint there, and we are good. And we can see whatever is on the memory of the client. It's taking a bit of time. Time for a song. What is this? Here. Why I don't have the full list here of songs? I only have one. Let me load all the songs into Winamp. I'm gonna move this. Load all the songs. Okay, we're going with the Magic Shop. Okay, it's compiling. It compiled. It took a lot. I don't know what it did, but it took a lot. Okay. So now we can launch like the server normally, but we want to launch the client. We want to launch the client inside Visual Studio. So I need to do window, rest, blah blah blah, game log, whatever it is. I copy these parameters. That the one that I use for my batch, and I just launch it as a client. So under debugging, I put this stuff. Boom. Do F5. Yes. Server is up. Client is now inside Visual Studio, and we debug it. I think if you follow me every day, for the people that are not programmers, I think at the end you will be able to do a lot of stuff. Not that I'm doing it good, but I'm learning so slowly that you can follow every step. You know? Learning so slowly that you can like, oh yes, I understand. Okay, so we click on play. Now, what I want to do, when I click that thingy, but I don't think it will ever be loaded unless I call it from the edge. Probably not. I don't think the client will call that function unless I explicitly call it from the editor. Right? Because when I go here, now the server executed the get OOC description, but the client didn't, because I think so PS character, PS character, get OOC, get OOC description. This reminds me a bit of a Enya song. Get OOC description. So yeah, so we have to call this somewhere from the editor, otherwise we will never know. Okay, good point. Good point, boys. Good point. So let's go to the editor. Let's see if someone else is speaking in Discord. I don't know. Now I have to check Discord and. Hey Soap, how are you? On the agenda today, we have the ability to talk. So to talk, I mean to get an answer from the lady on our hi message, which is actually a real one taken from the database, a real response. At the moment, we are getting a fake response. We are getting a good response from the description, but we are not getting a good response from the hi. The reason is that yes, it's not implemented. Well, we are not calling the right functions because it's all implemented server side. We're just not getting the right functions. And now what we are trying to prove is that. So I said if I go here and I go here, good function. Selected interaction is already a PS character blueprint which inherits from PS character, so you don't need to cast a PS character. Wow. Wow, this message. Wow, this message. Cool. Okay. Nice. I will not cast this. So now it should appear, right? My OOC description. Great. I love this system. This system is insanely nice. Okay, so we connected our function to a node. Now that function became a node, right? Andrew, I don't know if you have seen it, but maybe you are the one that is less Unreal Engine or Unreal Engine aware. But basically, we connected this function, just adding this line function blueprint callable. We made it so that from the visual scripting of Unreal Engine, I can call that function like this, and it becomes a visual node. Isn't that freaking insane? I think it's insane. It's very nuts. So we get our value, which is our OC description, which, by the way, we could even print if we want, right? Just to demonstrate that it's not. What does development only means? This node will only be executed in the editor and in the development build and packaging mode. Because it's a print string. So it's saying, why are you using print string in final build? Yeah, that's correct. So we are printing this thing. Now, how do we know if this character has an OC description? I think we should add it to the. We should add it to the character. Actually, I don't think we have. Mail and key. I don't think we have. It's in this table, right? Yeah, it's in this table. So we can have. This is my OOC description. Alright. In description, maybe we can say mail and key description, which maybe is a bit better than the description. We apply, we save, we finish, okay. Now, I have to stop the server, I think, otherwise I will not be able to. I don't know why I'm getting that error already. And then I can also stop the client. It stopped already, okay. So now we can save and compile. So I can put a breakpoint. I can put a breakpoint there. I put it already. So we have inside this return OC description our breakpoint. Exactly. So what do we have to do? We have just to launch it again. We launch the server and we debug the client inside Visual Studio, okay? We debug the client inside Visual Studio. Now the server has the OOC description. 100%. Okay, starting. Okay. He's in a very dark spot, by the way. The darkest spot. We found the darkest spot of the map. Okay, if I click on the description, I get a widget. I don't know why it takes so much. We will find out later. But where there is, for example, mail and key description. This is just a kind of a crazy widget that I just, created for example, but which is basically getting all the information from the server side and is printing it here. I don't know why it's not printing the OOC description. But anyways, maybe it's down here. The fact we cannot probably print it all. but it's okay. So the server for sure checked the OC description. It'd be nice to print it out. But now, if I click on the sword icon, okay, I get here. The OC description is empty. Now here I'm on the client, guys. Okay, that's the important point. Here I'm on the client. Let me see this APS character. How does it look like? This, eh? I'm inside APS character. Let me see how it looks. Because server side we loaded everything. Server side we loaded everything of this character. Like we have all the skills, for example. Right, the skills are empty here. Okay. So it's not replicating shit. Which is good and bad, eh? Which is good and bad. This will be a second pass. I think we will decide together which are the values that we really want to always replicate. Like for example the skills. I mean, why not? I mean, why we have to go back and forth with messages when we can just use the replication, right? We make this a real variable. I mean, a variable, and we replicate the values, right? It would be much better than what we do now. Well, not much better, but anyway, we'll be using an embedded feature. The inventory, I have no idea. Inventory, replicating all the inventory, potentially yes. Potentially everything of this should be replicated. But where is the NPC dialogue? Because the NPC dialogue should be inside of this, right? In theory. No, it's in my gem thingy. It's in my gem, which doesn't exist here. It doesn't exist. So basically what we will see, if we do like I want to do, we will see an NPC dialogue variable here, which is actually empty on the client, in which we will use for nothing on the client. But on the server, it will have all the knowledge of the NPC, and we will use to query the knowledge. I think it's okay. I think it looks good. So it's not replicating, huh? It's not replicating this. What is actually replicating? I mean, there is something probably inside a character, right? Inside the standard Unreal character that is getting replicated. Like maybe the mesh, I don't know, the mesh maybe is valid both sides, or maybe the server doesn't need the mesh. Like the capsule component, probably the capsule component is automatically replicated because I have it both sides to bound for bounding boxes and things like that, right? How do I see if something is replicated? I don't see it from here, huh? There is not a flag that says this thing is replicated. Player state is there is score as a default. Score, ping, player ID. All these ones we don't set. Start time. There is already a bunch of existing fields, you know, that maybe we can use instead of ours. Controller, which at the moment this is the lady, so it's correct. The lady doesn't have a controller, so she is just a mesh. Last hit by. AI controller class. There is actually an AI controller class here. There is an artificial intelligence controller class already set, which maybe is the default. I don't know, but okay. I'm now fiddling with this, but I think we understood, right? We understood that we've proven more than understood, because understood, I think we understood it already. But we've proven that there are some variables that are actually not replicated by default, and for sure all the ones that I added to my APS character are not. Right? They are not replicated by default. So we have to choose which one we want and which we don't want. Like inventory, we have to choose if we want to keep it the old way, or if we want to change it to something that is automatically replicated client and server. Which on one side is good. On the other side, it means that we will have to rewrite basically all our code that is working with the inventory. If we keep it as it is, we just rewrite the messages that are going client to server and back. So that's the decision. That's the decision we have to take. Do we want the messages rewritten, or do we want the whole code? You know. Maybe we will start by rewriting the messages, and then piece by piece, as we go more real engine oriented, we will we modify the rest as well. Okay, because yeah. So if we go to our code here, the I think I can stop this, right? I don't need. I don't need any of that. So basically, everything that is in PS character, most likely, has to be replicated. Everything that was in gem actor, in our old gem actor, and gem NPC and gem whatever, potentially should only be accessed through messages. Right? So what exactly this gem thing is containing? What do we have here? What do we have here? Because I don't think we have much, right? So gem actor. So we have the dialogues we just said. We have an ID which points to okay, the super client managing. Basically, this was our artificial intelligence server. So which is pointing to the artificial intelligence server managing this thing. This we don't need anymore because we would be replaced by Unreal. Then we have target and owner. I think are yes the current target and the current owner of this object, of this NPC. Then we have few settings for proximity triggers. Then we have a real client is allowed to loot this character. Okay, yeah, this was more of a a mechanic to say you kill a monster, you want to loot it, and who participated to the fight, and so who can actually loot him, because we didn't want people to loot a monster if someone else killed it. Then what do we have? We have this. I don't know what is it. Some bad text, some speakers busy. That's it. I mean, we don't have much inside the gem NPC. Let me check the gem actor though, which is derived from this guy. I mean, which is the father of this guy. Let me check the gem actor. The gem actor. The gem actor keeps track of the player group. Okay. Keeps track of the mount, but I mean this can be also on PS character. Eh? Keeps track of the death reckoning. I mean all of this will go away because it's all managed by all the movement is managed by Unreal Engine. There is a kind of a place where the people start digging. Okay. Death receive a list of objects which are defined when this actor dies. Yes, this is kind of more of a server side thingy, so This will be maybe inside the combat manager. I think we can move it probably to the combat manager somehow. Oh yeah, so this one can be really server side. There is an example of something that could be only server side. So we don't want the client to know or to hold this information. Makes no sense. Last location, also last location. I don't think that the client needs to know. Or previous teleport location. I mean, I think all these things can be server side only. Chat history. Active reports. Total reports common file against this player that are still active. Yeah, for example, this one for sure we don't want the client to have or to fake this information, to replicate this information. Right? This is only server side. Security level also must be server side only. Is falling. Okay, with this client and server. This client and well, this invincible. Again, we don't want the client to fiddle with that, so we will do an action and the server will validate if he's invincible or not, if he's visible or not. Also, the visible, right, should be server side managed. Yeah, I think there is a bit. I mean, there are a few pieces that I can think that can be server side only, but not too many. I mean, the majority of the items that are in the character should be replicated. I can post it, Craig. I can post it because I can. Godly powers. Yeah, it doesn't allow links from people that are not on the channel. Okay, so movement mode. So all this stuff is frozen. Player mode, combat stance. Okay. But you understand the point, right? So we have a lot of stuff that, because in a real engine you could just select this hero and say, okay, let's say he has 5 new variables, you know, and that's it. So you go on the character, you say, you go here, you say hello, character blueprint. I am adding new variables. I'm adding a new variable that is my OC description, and after I add it, I can also add this, no problem, like my OC dummy description. Okay, just to remember that we should delete it. And this OC dummy description, by the way, is replicated to the server, right? And I think the replication is somewhere here. Category default, no, replication, you say? Replication, replicated. So if I set it replicated, then it gets replicated over the net. Now, who is the master? I have no idea. Who wins? If the server changes and the client changes at the same time, who is winning this? I don't know. I have no idea how this works, but replication condition. You see, there's a lot of things like initial only, owner only, skip, simulated, autonomous, simulator of physics. Oh my god, there's a ton of stuff here. So we have to learn this, but basically, if we want, we could just transform a lot of the variables that we have now on PS character in this kind of variables that are replicated, and we will get them for free, client and server, without sending messages, right? Without inquiring. What is the problem? The problem is, the issue I have is that if we do this and we automatically replicate, what is the security? The security is completely fucked up, right? Because security is completely fucked up. Because if I replicate, so let's assume I replicate the skills, right? I replicate the skills. So it means that my client NPC knows his skills. That's super bad, because it means that other players could inspect this NPC and know exactly his skills, right? Matthias, are you there? I don't know if you are there, but if you are there, I will let you just ask you this question. Any chance you are still there? Matthias? Probably not there. But anyway, I think that's the point, right? So if we replicate skills, we get them for free, which is nice. But then they are on the client. And when they are on the client, everyone can, I mean, I don't know exactly how, but they are sent over the network. So they can just read the network and unpack it and do whatever they want. And they can see all the skills of those NPC, and they could make a program that just next to the NPC is listing all his skills. Right? I don't want that. I really don't want that. I don't want that. Everything should be managed server side. So what you see is only the 3D mesh. That's it. Okay, maybe you can have the name. Okay, the name of the character is not a problem. The description is not. I mean, everything that you can get by right-clicking and looking, I think we can replicate. Right? So yes, the description, the name, description and the name. That's it. Everything else should never be replicated. Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? That's the question. I think yes, right? So I think it's good as we do. Okay, I think it's good as we do. Even if our APS character as a variable which is then never filled in client side, I don't care. We will have this variable, it's only used server side, it's fine. Okay, so we continue with the plan. The plan is good. The plan is to connect to APS character exactly like it was in Gem. So now the point is, are we really going to migrate that code from Gem to APS character? I would say yes. This is what we do. So instead of this piece, so this will be the first time we do something very different from the old code to the new code. Okay, because the old code has NPC freaking thingy. Where is this NPC dialog? Yes, there's NPC dialog inside gem NPC. In the new code, we will find it under PS character, because gem NPC doesn't exist anymore. That is the first time that we do something that is breaking the compatibility between old and new code. I mean, that is different. Right? You cannot find it anymore. Maybe we can make a comment. No, we cannot make a comment because we don't even have the class. So the point would be that here inside our APS character, we add a new variable which never existed before. Where should I add it? Where is a good place to add this thing? APS character. We are adding all the variables at the end usually, right? This is what we do. So we have all the methods, and then at the end we have all the variables. If I remember right, huh? APS character. No, it's a bit. Yeah, it's like this. Okay. I think we can add it as the last one. Okay, and we can say derived from the old code. No, do you want to see this? Or was originally in gem actor? We can say was originally in gem NPC. I think then we will be able to remove this comment sooner or later, but keeps a reference to the triggers and responses for this NPC. Right? So we put it here. Now what we need to do, luckily enough, NPC dialog has been ported by me already fully, so we just need to understand where is it, but I think it's inside dictionary probably, no? I hope so. I hope I ported it. Where is NPC dialog? NPC dialog is inside ps npc dialog.h, which I think we have. Okay, I think we have ps npc dialog.h, ps npc dialog.h. Here it is. So we should just add to our ps character this thing. This include ps npc. We should put out the include in alphabetical order. I think that would be a good idea. Include is under bulk objects, right? But we are already in bulk objects, so it's fine. ps npc dialog.h. So now it's so cool that it gives you in green on the right side, the small spot, so you know where. So you see where the code that you modified is. It's pretty cool. Okay, so now it sees it. Okay, now it sees it. Now the point is that this one will be empty when the character is created, but when we load up the NPC, which is in our character loader, which is in our PS character loader somewhere. So here, where we were loading, load all NPC, blah blah blah. Here, exactly here. Add NPC dialog. At this point, we could do this instead of actor. I think we have our. What is our character actually? Our character is this guy. Is this guy. So we should have a char data, but I don't think we have a setup dialog because this one was on the gem actor. So I think that we don't have any setup dialog. We have to move that as well. Yes, exactly. So this setup dialog in the old code was where it was. Setup dialog was in gem, obviously, it was inside gem NPC. So now we need this as well in our PS character. Should we keep all these things in the same place since they are all derived from gem NPC? Like I put it just here, even if it's not in the list with the other ones. Call it from what? Call it from PS character loader. Yeah, it's PS character loader. Setup dialog. Now this one we need to take the implementation as well. Implementation of this we don't have in the new code yet, so it has to be ported, I think. Because if I search setup dialog in the new code, I think let's say current project. Okay, this is the call. There is a bug file, I don't know why it's there, and that's it. So no, we don't have this piece of code in in the new code, so this has to be ported. So let's see what it does. Setup dialog and go to definition. I hope it's not huge. It's not huge because it uses the NPC dialog for the most part. Nice. So we take this code, we put it inside our PS character, maybe at the end, and we port it, okay? So this will be, no, sorry, this is body manager though, huh? let's put it at the end of APS character. Skill set, APS character, here it is. APS character is finishing here. Normalize character name. Okay, we can do it. We can do it here. I think. No, we can do it before that one. I don't know what is this thing, but let's do it here. Okay. So here we do APS character, and we put in the setup dialog. Let's see if the code is okay. So we put a force dict. Dict is the dictionary, which we actually have as a global variable, because I think this I already ported as well. So in PS Unreal we have our dict, which is exactly that. So we are fine. So dict should work. Find knowledge areas should work. Name depends a bit on if it's a string or not. We need the IntelliSense to work. Come on, IntelliSense, you can do it. Hello to whoever joined. I see more people joined in the last few minutes, so welcome to the stream. We are pretty deep into some porting of code, so may not be the most exciting moment, but in a certain sense it is. In a certain sense it is. I will save this one because I want to keep it. I will call it Unreal replicate. Well, what is it? Unreal character replication. Because maybe when we discuss, I pull it up again and. Okay, so you see the IntelliSense went through. All of this is still valid, right? We have a small issue here because NPC dialog is not taking an APS character, and then we have a CS string which should change to an F string, but well. Down case, let's go to our translation table. Translation table, code conversion. What is down case? Down case is called to lower. Okay, easy. And error 2 should be changed to EU log blah blah blah, right? So this one should be changed to EU log temp text fail to close. Okay. And then I always forget the show ID if it needs to have the pointer or not. Yes, it needs the pointer. Okay. To be printed properly by this log file, log thingy. Then so we only have 2 errors left. One is the NPC dialog is not taking APS character as a parameter. So let's say pick definition gem. Yeah, I think that is the problem. That is still thinking he has a gem object as self, but now we will change it to APS character, and I think we can change also. What is the constructor? I don't see any constructor here. It is. Yes, instead of gem NPC, I think we can just change it to APS character, right? I think is what we need, so that you get a reference to this NPC. Why we keep this self, by the way? Do we use it anywhere in the code? Are we need to query the character to know maybe why? Why? Let me check. Let me do Control F2. What is it? Yes, Control F2. I can remove the other. Okay. So go to definition, class definition. So in this class, I'm just wondering if this self is ever used. Right? If it's ever used. Not here. Let's check the CPP class. Find response self. Because it's passing. Yeah, it's passing the character to. Okay, it's fine. To the other function. So I think yes, we need our APS character working properly. Yeah, we need this. We need this. Okay. Okay. But as you see, the conversion is not. I mean, we are keeping like 90% of the code the same. If you can see this, right? It's pretty amazing. Should signpost in ELA be in English, or is there some other alphabet I should use? Good question, C72. I think we have them in English, right? I mean, we have languages for each of the races actually, but the name of the series I think are standardized between all the races. So I think that the Kran says Hidla the same way, and then Kirukai says that. So I think it's the same. So do you mean north, south, west, or do you mean Ojaveda? Because our city, I will tell you a few names, okay? So like Ojaveda is the name of a city, Hidla is the name of another city, and Gugrontir is the name of another city. I think every race calls them the same way. I think every race calls these things the same way. There may be a local, I don't know, but maybe you should ask players because players knows more than me in these things. But there may be a way that like the Ojaveda is the city of the cat people. Maybe the cat people have their own name for Ojaveda, but I would say let's consider that at least the cities have a common language, okay, a common name. Otherwise, it starts to get confusing. I don't know what you think, but is there a way to point the stream to the Discord server? I mean, like if I can automatically redirect people there. Okay, let's move on. This is an APS character, obviously, and if we find anywhere else the gem NPC, like in the so let's do this gem NPC. Yes, any gem NPC should be changed with APS character. This one we don't need anymore. APS character, I think, well, we can change it to APS character as well. Yeah. Okay, good. Now, in the implementation, now this works okay, but this one doesn't because add knowledge area is still using IntelliSense going nuts. Okay, it's taking a K name. We can just change it to an F string. I think it's probably easier. Knowledge area, so I don't know. We can keep it like this for now, just to avoid changing the code. But this new area is an F string for now for us, and I don't know. We can convert it, but actually, I think that sooner or later we should do a pass of changing everything to oops, sorry, I did it wrong. To F string. Okay. So this is ported, I think. This piece is ported and is actually, I think, may actually work. So the setup dialog, well, I think there may be some issue in the code because okay, let's see, but so we do the setup dialog now. So our APS character, when we load on the server, we'll have the ability to load in his knowledge. Right? Let me see if this one compiles as well. So we should place a breakpoint here, and I think we should debug it just to see what happens. Right? Setup dialog. Yeah, I think we should do this. So we switch back to the server side. I want now to debug the server again. So I go -server -log. I compile it and launch it. And when we load the lady, we will hit that breakpoint, and we will see what happens if it compiles. If it compiles. Cyborg, do you have access to 3D Studio Max? Because what I'm thinking, yes, because what I'm thinking is that I checked again, you know, the prices of 3D Studio. Now they have like a annual. I mean, if we want to upgrade to the new version, if you want multiple people to use it, I mean, it's really a lot of money. It costs really a lot, so I don't think we can afford that, you know, or afford the upgrade. So we already used Blender for a few things. We already used it for a few things, so I'm thinking we should move. And maybe what I can do, if you have the willingness to do it, I can give you some of the assets, mainly the CD geometry and things like this, and you could just export them and import them in Blender, so that we finally have them in Blender, and we consider that Blender becomes the new master, you know, the new, and I would just not use anymore the old max files. But I need someone to do the conversion, I mean, to check that the conversion goes proper and we are not losing information, or the geometry is not fucked up, you know, and that is correct. And then when we have it correct in Blender, then we will use that as a master. Maybe we could just load it into SVN, maybe in another directory, whatever, of SVN, so that whoever wants to work on the geometry, it can just access it on SVN and change it. Right? I don't know what you think about it, but I'm thinking to do this, and I need someone to do the job of conversion and checking. I mean, it's not just saving, right? But it's like opening it up and seeing if there is anything, which is getting crazy. That would be extremely useful. That would be extremely useful. So we have bad text on the NPC. Well, they are divided in pieces. They are divided in cities, let's say, in areas. So you convert the full area. So we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think 11. No, sorry, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think we have 14 maps. Probably a bit more. Maybe 15. There's also the magic shop. 15. Maybe 15 maps. Okay. And you are not going to convert the mesh. I mean, you are not going to convert the single barrel or the single box or the single signpost or the single whatever, right? So you are going to take those levels, just the level, the full levels, like a full city, and just save it to Blender and see if he comes up properly. And I think he will, by the way. I mean, it's just geometry, so the only thing that we may then have to change are probably the lights, because maybe the lights will not be correctly imported between Max and Blender. That could be the only thing that may not work. I mean, I can give you one and you can test it. I can give you the main city. This is the one that we already imported, and see if we can just import it all and yes. And then I think we also have to think if we need to follow a certain naming convention or something else for the objects. I don't know, because there are some rules inside the old system. For example, instances of object, like if you have the same barrel like 20 times, we were naming them in a special way so that our engine could recognize that, right? So they were named, I'm simplifying, but like barrel 01, barrel 02, barrel 03, and it was knowing that they were all instances of the same basic object, and the basic object was named barrel 00, and was sitting in coordinate 000. And so when we were doing the export for our engine, which was a, say, custom exporter, we were translating those into instances, right? So it was a bit custom in that sense. Now for Blender or for Unreal, I have no idea how it works. Or anyway, I did it at least maybe 1 year ago when I imported the city, but I don't remember how I did the instances, so I will have to go back and check. So we need to, maybe I even have it on the wiki, because I try to type down everything I do. So there is a place on this wiki which is called import a level. Oh no, I didn't type much. Only that in the FBX exporter set the unit to centimeters. You scale the model up to 100 times. In this view, the units are 1 unit 1 centimeter. When you see they are 1 unit 1 meter. So yes, it was only this. To import texture and normal match, to ensure that the texture file is sitting in the same directory of FBX file, they have the same reference material editor. Yes, Max. So I only said that. I didn't specify anything about instances of objects. I think that we have to figure that out again. Yes, we have to figure it out again. Like, yeah, but I think that if we have then these models in Blender, and so I think everyone will be able to work on it, and will be much easier than today. Historically, we did it in Max, but it's harder to find people that have access to Max, at least in the indie scene, like in the open source and indie scene. So it's much harder to get people that can do it. It's a bit harder, and I think that Blender now, it was not 10 years ago, like so 15 years ago. So 15 years ago, Blender was pretty bad, and 3ds Max was the only one to redo, let's say, proper animation with kinematics and such. So this is also why we used it. But now I think Blender is such a good tool, and also the animation is very good that you can do whatever you want, I guess. So So maybe it's really time to switch, you know, to fully switch to Blender and take this opportunity to change that. If you want to do it, let me know. I can upload maybe one other level, maybe not the one that you already have, that is in the game now, but maybe the right side of the city, which is actually connected to the piece of the city that we have now. I think I will have to double check if we have it already or not, but let me check. And I can give you that. I can give you the max file, and you can maybe do this thing. That will, I think, will be very useful to us. Let me see which kind of idla we have at the moment. Crank character. What did we change in the crank character? We added the OC description. Oh, I don't know. Save content. Why it wants me to save just to open a level? So if I go top, and I load the main level, there are a few thingies, but where is it? It's there. Okay. So this part of the city is actually, yes, only half. It's actually only half of the city because you miss. Yeah, we miss all this part. There is another city, another part of the city here, okay, which is roughly this area, right? Roughly this area, which is in another file. Then maybe we can try to export and yeah, and then put it in. Would you be willing to do so? I can give you the max file for that. Okay, good. I will send you. I will upload it to. I will upload it somewhere, and I will give you the URL. Okay. I can do it now. Let me see if I find it. Okay. Do I have it on this PC? That's the problem. I think I have it on the other PC, but I can do it from the other PC easy. Let me see. No, I don't. Well, no, I don't have. I don't have all my content on this PC. So let me do it from the other one. Do it from the other one. If I go here under PS, under PS graphic 3D levels. So where it is? I think at the moment we imported only that side. FBX fixes. I did some fixes to the main city because I think I can give you also the city we already imported. So maybe you will see how we did it. I think I had to do some fixes because otherwise it was actually not working properly. So the export was not working properly. I don't remember if it was they had to move like all the pivot points to 000 something like that. Otherwise it was not working as expected. So I'm giving you these two files. Let's see, this one, this one I'm putting into an FTP, into our FTP. So on main PlaneShift website, I will give you the URL. I will go here and here. Okay. I will just put it here randomly, or yeah, I think I will put it here randomly. It's fine. So okay, one I have, and then the other is JOs. Where is the? Just want to be sure they get the latest. Yeah, there's a kind of a connector, because actually those places were connected by, yeah, by anyway, I can give you also the connector. And I think you will understand, as soon as you see it, you will understand it very easily. Yes, and these two. I think I can put them all together. Yeah, we'll do this. I'll just put all of this together in a single file. Can I? Okay. I put all three in the same file, and I'm uploading it. This one I can remove. And then I just need a way to give you to give you the URL. Let me see if I can chat with you in Discord, right? Yes, I can. Okay, so the URL will be something like this: www.planeshift.it. No, I think it's like something like public. Okay, it works. How do I move it here? Because I have to move the URL to the other PC. 1 second. I'm doing this thing just to give you the file. Okay, it works. Okay. Okay, I sent you the URL. That file contains three files, three max files. One is for the city the piece of the city that you already know, which is this piece, which is, by the way, the largest piece. Then there is one thing that is called connector, and the connector is basically what we were using before as a transition map between two maps, and which was basically triggering the loading. Okay, and now we are not gonna do it like this anymore. And then you have so that one is called high HY gyos, HY, I think HY something, HY gyos. And then there is another one which is called wait a second, another one that is called Idla gyos, 18 grass. But anyway, Idla gyos, and that one is the this sorry, the east side of the city. Sorry, I just to take a drink. So that's the east side of the city. So the main piece you already have in Unreal, and I think that it should not be re-imported. At least I think that it's good as it is now, at least for now. But we may want it in Blender, right? So that we have it, we have like a master copy in Blender, and we use then the master copy to do changes if we want, or things like this. And the other two will have to be converted. Good. Just let me know if you got it. I mean, if you can download it actually, that would be nice. Okay. So what we were doing here, we were, oh yes, we were adding this. So the add back text is not working because it was another method which was only on gem and PC, which now we want to have instead on our yes, on our PS character, right? So we'll merge a lot of these things like gem and PC and APS character will be kind of merged. Now we have to think if we want to create a subclass of APS character dedicated to NPCs. I don't know. For now, I will not do it, but maybe in the future we may decide to specialize it, just to avoid having a bunch of things. We will think about it. We will think about it. For now, we don't care. We just put it in because we want to just enable that function and see what happens, basically. But yeah, we want to add inside our PS character add bad text. This one is still called by NPC dialog. So this one is called from PS NPC dialog to store bad text received from players. So it's not bad text, it's to say all the triggers that we couldn't interpret, right? All the triggers that we couldn't actually parse to a decent answer. All the text received from players which we cannot parse. Okay. So this one we add. Then we add it also to PS character, and we add it exactly here. We add it exactly here. So we take the definition of this. Hopefully it doesn't have a million dependencies. Let's see. Hopefully it doesn't. So this one becomes APS character with const char. Const char is fine, bed text, I don't know, what is it? Bed text, do we have it? Maybe we don't have this variable, right? This variable is again on gem and PC. So we have to create it. What is this dialog counter? I think I did import this dialog counter, unfortunately. This dialog counter is here. It's just a struct that keeps this thing. Okay. Okay, so let's keep this. Let's port all of that to our actor. Export all of this to our actor. At the moment I'm placing it here just to keep it together. So all CS string becomes F string, all CS text become time T. All the dialog counters, well, we declared here, so it should be fine. Now this CSPDel array, I think we have it in our conversion table. Because we faced this guy a few times already. Yes, like PSPDel array phonic entry becomes a T array of a pointer to phonic entry, not the pointer in new. Yes, okay, thank you. So it will become something like this. It will become a T array of bed text. And Cyborg, can you just tell me if you received the file? Got them? Nice. Perfect. Hello, whoever joined. Welcome to the stream. So we do this bed text now, and what else? So here is okay. Let me check inside PS character what is missing. So bed text is now an array. So instead of get sides, we have num. Instead of get sides, we have num again. Instead of CS get text, I think we have times 0 if I remember right. Let's just double check. CS get text needs times 0. Yes. So it's pretty much the same. And this gem and PC actually should be APS character, right? This compare, I don't know what is it, but I think it's the function we declared there. Okay, it should be fine. I think it should be fine. Let's try to compile this and see what it does. Let's see what it does, boys. There is a tense moment. It's a tense moment, boys. We need a tense music. Tense music. I think we will make this game great again. I have this feeling. Epic enough. There is the song. It's called Fight at Bronze Doors. It is made by a guy named Brian Gay, who's working for us. Unfortunately, it's not the date. It's so pity. There is no. If I click on I, maybe I get more info. More information about the artist. Search the web for this artist. Maybe he became famous meanwhile. We don't know, maybe he became famous. loading anything. Yeah. It didn't compile. It didn't. It didn't compile. Okay, let's see why. Cannot access private member. Declared in class APS character. Because we placed it at the end of the file, and at the end everything was private. Okay. GG. Okay, so everything was private, so we need to move this function up, or we will not be able to use, up in the H file, right? Because all of this otherwise becomes private. Where is the private starting? It's starting here. So we move all of this up. That's fine. I think it's fine. Okay, let's try again. Hello, hello, Rock. We are compiling, boys. Boom. It failed again. Cannot convert argument 1 from okay, because all the yeah, okay, so now we are going inside the code of find response, and I think that most of this code is still thinking about gem NPC. We should remove, but it's fine. I mean, it's something that we have to do. I don't think we'll be in too many places, so I don't think it will be a huge work. I think it will just be to change few calls. I'm not expecting it to be everywhere, right? So gem NPC, we just change it to APS character and see what happens. Right? I mean, things like get name should still be there. Let's just search in this file where we still have a gem NPC, okay? Because I think that all the references to gem NPC we want somehow to remove. Like, yes, as available responses, you know, all of this. What is this as available responses? Yes, it's passing this, you see, and this will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, the third parameter. Now the second parameter, yes, it will be the NPC, which is again an APS character. So basically, we can change all the gem NPC to APS character basically everywhere. I think this execute script, I think it's a bit special thing here. I don't know what is it. This one for now, let's leave it as it is. Check training. Well, here the good thing, like in this case, is that we already have the PS character directly, so we don't, you know, we don't need to get character data because we already have it. I cannot access a protected member. Freaking hell! So the second block was protected. Okay. So we move this block up another time. Where is the protected starting? Here. Maybe I can place you fix me check scope. How is called the protected private and thingy? The scope. The scope of these functions, not all should be public. Okay, maybe we do this and see. Yeah, maybe not all should be public actually. It's compiling. I'm not expecting it to work immediately. Cannot convert character from APS character to. So there was another find response, I guess. There was more than one. No. Sorry. Cannot convert what? Cannot convert the first parameter, right? From APS character to gem NPC. So there must be another find response somewhere. Why is it saying APS character? Yes. It's already an APS character, so sorry, I'm a bit confused about this error. Find response. Maybe there is another find response, I guess, with different parameter. No. What the hell? What the hell? Cannot convert argument 1 from APS character to gem NPC. You don't have to convert it to gem NPC. It's already. I think we may have maybe still some. Don't understand this error. Do we still have the PS NPC dialog defined in our parking lot, in our shitty class where we put all the trash? Maybe that's the reason. Let's see. Okay, we have it here. We have gem NPC defined here, but this is not a problem. No, we don't have. I'm confused about this error, guys. I'm really confused. So it's saying that this method can convert the first parameter from gem NPC to APS character. I mean, this parameter is self. Self is defined on this class as APS character. So it's not a, it's not a gem NPC in any way. In the function that we are calling, which is this find response, I don't know why it goes here, but why it goes here? Int response ID. But anyway, the find response that we are calling is this one, which has as a first parameter APS character. So what's the issue? Why is it annoying? No instance of overloaded function matches the argument list. APS character const char int client int const char int client int. Dictionary.cpp. Why it says there is not? It is. Oh, maybe the H file. Wait. Maybe it's the H file that is not matching the freaking. Let me search again for find response. Maybe I didn't change it here. Here it is, boys. We got it. APS character pointer. Yeah, I didn't change it here. That's the problem. The same for as available responses. Right. What else? Run, I don't think we call it. Show menu, I don't think we call it. Execute script, we don't call it. Okay, I think it's fine. I think we got all the major points. We will have them to change when we execute quests, okay? But at the moment we are not executing quests yet. We will do it soon. I mean, unfortunately tomorrow I cannot stream, which is pretty bad. So tomorrow we'll have to skip one day, but because I'm traveling, I'm not here. But maybe on Friday night, if I don't go out, we will do the quest part, right? Which would be super cool. If we manage to have quest working, in Unreal Engine, I think we can call it a game. You know? I think we will call it a game. Okay, so response replace. Where is this thing? This thing is inside substitute keywords, which we were having already, right? The difference is that now self get name. Okay, that now probably is an f string or whatever, and so we can just need IntelliSense to wake up. Can you do the dance to wake up IntelliSense, please? Okay, it did it. So ANSI to char, no secret conversion to char, because this one probably is already an f string, and replace is taking already 2 f strings, right? So we just need to remove this. Nice. No? Sorry, I have to, yes. Okay. So this was one error. The other error was, all the errors were here. Wow. Could be the last error, boys. Could be the last error. And then it compiles. Let's see. No, it doesn't. Okay. There is one error left, at least for what I see, which is the fact that here when we enter NPC responses, blah blah blah, NPC get name, now this one is probably an f string, so I think we have to do this, right? Okay, F7. It could be the right time, could be working now. It didn't. I tried with the music, but it didn't. Failed to produce, cannot convert argument. Oh my god, what is this? Cannot convert argument 2 from APS character dialog counter to APS dialog counter pointer const and. Holy shit. This error, boys, this error. What is it saying? See reference. I mean, I can see all the reference you want, but please tell me what was the original line. You don't tell me, huh? Come on, it cannot be there. it cannot be in sorting.h. I mean, it's obviously the operator is somewhere else, right? Oh my god, it's making things harder for me, huh? So this error is obviously not here. This error is in the class that we just saw, where, but unfortunately it's only pointing to this sorting thing. But anyway, it's pointing to the class that we just saw, where we added, where did we add this thing? We added this dialog counter, right? This dialog counter struct, which is keeping this and is comparing. So what it doesn't like, it doesn't like the compare. No user-defined conversion operator available to perform this conversion. Cannot convert from APS character dialog counter to APS character dialog counter pointer. Alright. So when it's calling this compare thingy, because before was an array of pointers, was an array, was I don't know what it was a CSP del array, which is a weird thing of crystal space. So, but anyway, usually we convert it as a T array of a pointer to the object that we have as a template, right? So why now this is not work? So let's check where it's calling this compare. I think it's calling this compare here, right? And so we do sort. So what is bad text? Bad text is, come on, IntelliSense, you can do it. Bad text is this, yes, bad text is this. So it's this T array of dialog counter. We are doing a sort using this compare function, and what it's saying is saying that the objects that is passing in are not pointers. Okay, so I just remove the pointers from here and he likes it. That is what he's saying. Is this what he's saying? Help me, boys. If you know the answer, tell me in the chat. And if you are new to this stream, please say hello. Register a Google account and say hello. Or you can also go to Discord. We have a Discord channel. I will give you the link. Discord channel is this one. Copy. Okay. Boom. We have a Discord channel here that you can join if you want. It's open to anyone. No restrictions. I don't know if I'm doing something that makes sense, but it is the only thing that ouch. It is the only thing that I know we may fix it, because it's basically passing in not pointers but objects, and is complaining about the fact that it cannot convert when it's running the sort. And so, but I don't know how this sort works, so whatever. Max decided to work. Okay, nice. So you can open the levels now. The levels are organized. There is you will see a big box, a big dummy outside, which is just what we call the sector, which is basically a way to group the items. But in those levels, I think it should not be a problem. And then I think you will see a bunch of objects in 000, These objects are the ones that come on. I'm still not able to do it, huh? Int forcing value to bool, true or false, performance warning. I mean, for a performance warning, you are not freaking compiling it. Bool, okay, it's returning a bool. I understand that. So it's saying that converting from int to bool, it doesn't like it. Okay. Because one minus the other is not. Okay, should I do a if? So annoying. Should I do should I do, because this is an int, right? It doesn't like this. He likes this to be a bool, I think. That is what it's saying. It's saying that he wants this to be a bool. And do you think that this will return, so if first dot count minus second dot count, what is this thing doing? First dot count different, so if the first is different from the second, then he compares, then he removes it does first minus second, like you understand if it's bigger, right? If first minus second, if is if is negative, means that the second is bigger, and then is returning something lesser than zero, right? Let me just see if it compiles this way, but I don't think so. It will tell me that I cannot, I mean, they cannot convert bool here, right? So it would be the same, but maybe in this piece of code. But I think he wants the bool. He wants the boolean boys, boolean. This music is called Destiny. It's made by a guy called Matthew Lago, which helped us to make this nice music no time. I think it says the year, but it's not correct. It says decoder, then at a certain point says year 2010, but I think year 2010 is the year where we made this CD, where we made the zip file. Okay, now it's complaining here, which is maybe a bit better than there. So performance warning. So we should just say if. No, we should just say first count, second, then false, otherwise true. If this is positive, then true, otherwise false, something like this. Why doesn't like it? Why it doesn't like this? What I'm missing? Ternary operator. What I'm missing with the ternary operator? I'm missing expression one. Ah, sorry, it's not like this. It's the opposite. Okay. I'm sorry. Starts to be late. So if it's greater than 0, then we return true, otherwise we return false. And here we should do something similar. If this is first 1 second, so it's the same, right? If it's greater than 0, then we return true, otherwise we return false. This one we should check the logic, but I think it should be fine. Do you feel yourself very fantasy? Very medieval? This is the music of the tavern. Tavern of Cadell. Yeah. It's compiling, boys. Do you think you can do it? Do you think you can do it? Maybe yes. Aha! Success! Okay. Stop the music. Okay, so it compiled, which is very nice. So this means that now, when we are loading our character at this breakpoint, in the setup dialog, we should see pumped into the NPC all the dialogue information. Okay? Do you believe? Do you believe? Let's launch it. Cyborg. It's fun because oh my god, what is it saying? It's fun because it's saying C72 is playing to 3D Studio Max. It's playing. Would you like to rebuild them now? What the fuck is this? Hot reload. I know what is it. I know what is it. The editor open fucks up everything. Don't save. Close this. Oh my god, it's so annoying when he does this. I still have to understand this hot reload in the right way. Okay, compiled it. Let's launch it. Let's see if it works. Okay, this is the message that makes me mad all the time, right? This is the freaking message that makes me mad all the time. It's the one that is telling me that my Unreal Engine, for some reason, is not, the DLL of my Unreal Engine is not correct, or something is not correct for some reason. But I don't know exactly why it says that. I don't know why it says that, so I'm always confused. And what I do in these cases is to basically go under, I will show you. To basically go here. No. So basically go here and under Win64 double check that EU editor modules is actually pointing to the right class. In this case is not. So it's this DLL, right? And I freaking delete the other DLLs. What is it? Oh, the other doesn't exist. Wait a second. These things always confuse me. If anyone can explain it to me, I would be very happy, because sometimes it's compiling this Win64. It's saying the following module are missing or built with a different engine version. Would like to rebuild them now, right? If I say yes, it creates here a PS Unreal editor.dll, which at the moment doesn't exist. But I'm pointing to this at the moment, so why is freaking complaining? Anyone knows what is the problem? Why is giving that problem? You see, one succeeded. So what he compiled again the Win64 debug game. Okay, he compiled this one. So I would expect that in this thing it would mention the UEditor debug game. Well, anyway, I can put it manually inside the UEditor module. I'm thinking something. But I'm compiling in the debug game editor, so it should compile properly, right? Why it doesn't? Is it changing this file while I'm compiling? No. Because now I run it in Visual Studio, and when it runs, you see, it says this. So I don't know, I can say yes, it builds it, but I don't understand why I have to build something in addition to my file. I don't understand why I have to do it like this. If anyone knows it, let me know. It'd be very useful to me. I'm always confused by that thing. Always confused. Should we create a kind of a plane shift channel, Andrew, and just move to Discord forever and forget? I mean, create a players channel. Like yes, like players, and the players channel is the players channel in Discord will have permission from, they could create an invite, they could read messages, send messages. I don't know, I created a players channel. I don't know if it's we'll try to invite the people and see if they want to join or what. Okay, he started. He's loading the lady, and here is actually trying to set up the dialogue for this lady. So let's just watch this variable and see all these other variables I can't delete, I think. So so now we should have a pointer, which is our NPC dialog pointer, you see, which now is completely empty. Right? Knowledge areas are empty as well, so all of this is empty. Now when I go through this, I'm expecting You can just execute and see if it crashes. It didn't crash. Pretty cool. So our NPC dialog now is filled in. Knowledge areas, mail Enki, general and mail Enki. Wow, boys. We are using exactly the old plane shift code and it's working. You don't believe it, but it is. So the knowledge area we have, I just don't know where then the answers and responses, the question and responses are stored. Because here we have the knowledge areas. Knowledge areas have been loaded properly, okay? Inside the mail Enki area, there should be some triggers, right? There should be some triggers. But I think that this one probably points only to the area itself, and then the NPC dict, based on the area, does the calculation, right? So we have now loaded an area which is called mail Enki, okay? Mail Enki, which in our database knowledge areas is actually this one, right? Area mail Enki. Now this mail Enki should have inside NPC triggers. If I select mail Enki here, doesn't have anything. That's not nice. But she has. Yes. He has two elements inside that. So if we say Enkidukai, she answers something. If we say this, she answers something. What she answers, prior response required, trigger ID 40. So this is the trigger 40. Let's see if in the responses there is a 40. Yeah, she says Enkidukai are a feline race. Meow. Right? So, okay, good. So if now we say Enkidukai to her instead of hi, because now we are saying hi, so we have to say Enkidukai, which is pretty cool. So how do we do this? Don't remember if we send from our client, if we send specific. Yeah, let's stop this anyway. We don't need it running at the moment. We need the editor running. We need the editor, and we have to go back and check. How we are sending the message. Right? Who is sending the message? How we sending the message. I think when we are clicking on the UI under the talk button, I think we are sending a hi. Right? I think that's it. And then that one comes here inside player controller base actually, which is the talk interaction. Wait a second, which is the talk interaction, right? Talk interaction, which is basically taking. No, it's doing nothing at the moment. So we have to. Yeah, it's taking the text though. So it's taking the text that we are sending from the client, right? So I want here to send, at the moment we want to send Enkidukai, okay? So obviously we will make it that they can write down something, but in the talk button of my interact UI, so basically here we are sending hi, you see? We are sending hi. So I want to send Enkidukai, right? We save this. So now this thing will send Enkidukai. We send Enkidukai, and we will get it in this function as text. So this is the text that comes from the client, and now we are on the server, right? We print it out so we know what we are sending, and then instead of this we want to call, right? We want to call our NPC dialog. Now we have to see how it was done in the past because we should use the same thing, right? But I think that basically I don't know, we have to see in the old code how it was done. So I think the old code we were receiving this message, this talk. We were receiving it where? We were receiving it through message handler for sure, and then through one of the managers. So I think it could be if anyone has an idea, tell me. It could be the action manager, command manager, combat manager, entity manager. It's one of these managers, but I don't know which one. Message manager is the main one, so there should be one of these messages that is the talk interaction. I think it's easier if I search a message. Let's do this. Let's search under messages.h. It's probably easier. I search here, not the character detail message, which is the second one that we converted, but the one in which we are talking. So I don't know if it's a talk or if it's, I don't think it's talk, I think it's chat or something. NPC talk? No. For sure is not. Chat. Chat say, chat hello, chat whatever, chat message. No, it's not chat, it's not chat, it's something else. Tag advice, authorization, channel details, character creation, chat message, combat message, craft. Dialogue, maybe is called dialogue or NPC dialogue. Dialogue menu. Let's see if it's called like NPC dialogue. No. No, it's not called NPC dialogue. What is this fucking message? Quest reward. Is it a quest? No, it's not a quest. Is it a trait? It's not a trait. Pet persist. Order new name check message move mode. Message of the day, marriage message, generic message. I don't know. It should be something that says like speak with NPC, you know. But I don't find anything similar. There's a lot of GM, force faction, generic comment, PS effect. What is chat really? But chat. Message sent with the chat info, name of the person the message come from, name of the person involved. Let me search NPC and see if we find inside of this. This message used to manage the player merchant window, the client server message we deal with these messages. No. This message used to manage the group window, the NPC message we deal with these messages. NPC, there is a persist. Spawn item. Sequence, hired NPC, add NPC script message, NPC ready, new NPC, NPC command, NPC work done, chat NPC. Chat NPC seems a good one. Why I don't have a message here? Is this chat NPC maybe? It just goes through this? Maybe it's just a PS chat message which is done, which is, let me search this PS chat message. Okay, Gem and PC say yeah, it's using chat message, I think. I think I did this already. I have a deja vu. Wait a second. I think I wrote down. I wrote this down. Here it is. Here it is. I wrote this down. Loading of the brain happens here. Entity manager create NPC. Set up dialogue. Exactly. Responding to the question happens here. I did this investigation the other day. Well, about 5-6 days ago. I don't know. But I wrote this down, and actually is what I need. So check NPC event. What it's saying is there is NPC dialogue respond. NPC dialogue respond is where we get our response. Okay, so let's go and check it. Let's go and search for it. Hello, Juwaga. Hi. Playing Visual Studio. Yes, because this is made for games, so it's playing something, but how does it know that you are not playing with the game you made in Visual Studio? You're still playing, I don't know. Playing Visual Studio. Yes. What does it say for me? Because I have many applications open. What does it say for me? It says playing Visual Studio as well. NPC response. Response. Do you see? Do you see what it says for me in the box next to my name? What do you see as an information? NPC response. So we should know where this is coming from. Response. So it is the call, right? We just need the text and the client, and then we get the response. It is inside our NPC dialog, right? So I want to know when we are calling this response. I think we should search for match case and match word, otherwise we will find millions of this. In my text, I was saying check NPC event. Yeah, it's this. Check NPC event. Okay, check NPC event is coming in. Is checking if the NPC is alive actually. Is then downcasing the trigger, whatever. So whatever we say is downcasing it. Then it's searching the NPC. So I think that this one is exactly the one that we should use, right? And then we also check if there is a max distance. If the distance is too much, we stop the, yeah. So I think that is exactly what we need. So this block of code is what we need on the other side inside our inside of this, and I can say here taken from old PS code, and I would say NPC response check manager check NPC events, whatever. I can even, oops, oh my god, what I did. I can even take all of this, it's not a problem. Okay. So our target, so it's basically assigning the target because the target is coming in, right? Which is our NPC. Oh my god, do we have the target? No, we don't. So we need to pass on the target as well. We need to pass on the target. Why it needs it? Yes, it needs it because yeah, absolutely needs it. How does it know otherwise? Yeah. We need to pass on the target. Okay, so this talk interaction has to be extended to have an APS character. I would say that would be the best APS character. APS character as a target. Right? I think we can keep it the same. So if we go to our player controller here and we add APS character target exactly the same way. It was a pointer here, huh? Okay, let's keep it a pointer here as well. Let's keep it a pointer here as well. So that is fine. We have to compile it, but then no, so I cannot compile it because it's there is still a lot of errors here. So assuming we get a target in, we assign this target to this NPC. I don't know exactly why. Maybe because we cast it to something. No, NPC. I mean, I don't know why we do. Why we don't just check that the target is in. I mean, it was doing something like this, but I don't know exactly why. Then he was doing NPC. If NPC is alive, this is alive. I hope we have. Then we have, let's say, we transform this into an F string. Trigger text. Actually, we already have this as trigger, so yes, I think we should call it trigger. I think it's much more understandable. So we call it trigger on both sides, and there is already our trigger, so we don't need this anymore. Down case we said is what? Down case we said is too lower. Sorry, but I have to one thing I forgot. I have to assign it, huh? I have to assign it. Crap, I think we did an error before. The too lower, I don't remember where it was, but we did the too lower somewhere. I see it. No, it was not here. We did it too lower, and I cannot remember. I mean, it's very hard to remember where it was now. Was here. Okay, good, I found it. Thank God. New area equals new. So you have to assign it because the too lower is returning the result, right? Yes, returns a string. So, and I don't know if trim does the same. Just a second. No, trim does it in place. I think trim does it in place. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted because we had this other error that we had to fix. Text doesn't exist. It's actually called trigger. Correct. Is alive actually doesn't exist in APS character because is alive was probably still on gem NPC, most likely. Yes. Is on gem NPC. Now I don't know if we have It actually is on gem object. Wow. Gem object. Interesting. So we don't have this function. I think for now we can skip it, and we can put you fix me, check if NPC is alive, because actually I don't know with Unreal how we will do this. Okay, so it will probably be different. I don't know, it will be a status. Will be a status on the NPC. I don't know. Well, I mean, we have to think about it. Okay, so I will just remove it for now for simplicity. Then we get our NPC dialog pointer. So this is get NPC dialog pointer. Okay, this one we don't have. It's correct. We have to add, because we have to access the new function that we made, this NPC dialog. We could, let me check, we could just access that, or do we really need an accessor? I mean, having an accessor is always better. I agree. I totally agree. I'm just checking. Again, NPC dialog. No, I want to see it on. Why is virtual on gem NPC is virtual? Is not is getting. Oh no, is here. Get NPC dialog. So it's just returning NPC dialog. I mean, to me, fuck it. Fuck the accessor for a second. NPC dialog. Okay. Okay, so we are getting that. We are getting this. Then here we are checking if our object is in range of the other actor. Client, get actor, client is me, right? Client is me. Client is me. So I want to know if this NPC, maybe this one we can do already, right? We can do for real. We want to check if this NPC, we want to check the distance, right? The distance between the two. This range 2. Range 2, I think, was something that we built, which is probably checking float range 2. Go to definition. Inside the gem object is just saying what is this? If get position, get action location pointer, get position, actually 0 or action position, get position. Okay, this is kind of a ugly hack, I understand. This one is getting the proxy list of the objects that are around us, and we are checking in your Y, in your instance. Okay, but these parameters are automatically true, I guess. In your Y, in your instance are automatically false. Sorry, automatically false. Right. This function is basically checking the distance in our proxy list. Yeah, the proxy list in the old code were basically how to know that two things were close to each other. So it was proximity list. So range 2, if object null, infinity distance. If in different instance except the common null distance, return a very big value. Find a current position, get the position, get the other position, and then warp space based on whatever. If it's in your Y. Wow, this was interesting. That gets the distance. Okay, I think we can do it simpler. Okay, so because we don't have sector, we don't have instances yet, so I don't think we should go into this now. Like if two players are in different instances and one clicks on the other, which is technically impossible, what is the result, right? So would you enable changing nicks at the channel? I can. I don't know how to do it, but I can. Read I have it in Italian, but there is not a permission for changing nick. There is not a permission for changing nick. It's a permission for links, for files, for messages, for mentioning, for emoji, for this, but there is not. Maybe is on the full server. I mean, it's an option of the server. Let me check. Just checking if there is a way. If you find it, and tell me. I mean, if you go to the documentation of Discord somewhere, I mean, if you find on the web how to do it, just link me and I will do it. Okay? Because I searched a bit through the options, but I don't. The way I did it, I think, is you right click on the. You should right click on the Planeshift logo, right? On the icon of PS logo, and you do change nick. So this is what you should do. I don't think there is a setting, right? And it's not because your nick doesn't change with the channel, it changes with the server. So you should right click on the PS logo, do change nick, and then it will be known as someone else. Hopefully not Talad. So I think we can change this range to something else. There is nothing about what you're playing Discord. What do you mean? I don't get the phrase. So how do we find the distance between two characters in Unreal? Find distance between two characters in Unreal. Unreal Engine, find distance between two characters. Right? You can subtract both actor vector using get actor location. This is the vector length float. There is a get distance too. There is a get distance too. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, it's not working. There is a get distance too, right? Target exact. So if yeah. I don't know if it's already sorted, but Jiwoga didn't. Jiwogawa, what is the name? He didn't answer, so he didn't say if he sorted it out. He didn't say that. But you can. In theory, you can right click the channel and do change nick. That is how I did it. It is how I did it. So go back here. Instead of this, we want to do npc get distance to. Perfect. There is a get distance to. It's exactly what we need, boys. Get distance to what? To me. To self. Do we have self? No, we have this. Right. Get distance to this. So is getting the distance. Is checking if it's the maximum distance. If it's a maximum distance, it just returns. So in this case, we get nothing as a result. So she will not answer if you are too far. And at the moment, the distance is defined as 10 meters. So we have to be relatively close. Then there is this debug, which we should change. To the usual ulog blah blah blah. Right? Should change this to this. And here we have a target get name, which is an f string, so we do it here. Trigger get data. What the fuck is trigger get data? Trigger get data? There's no trigger get data. F string. No, it's not f string, but trigger. And then we return. So if null, then npc never speaks. And then here we return npc dialog respond trigger client. So we trigger respond. This respond is taking a const char. Okay, that we can change it. Client actually we don't care. I mean client we can just say null. I don't know, whatever. Is client actively used? I guess it is. Huh? Yes, it is. Instead of so this one we should change actually, because client will be us. Right, so instead of passing the client and then doing get actor, which is pretty stupid, we just pass in the actor. Okay, so I don't know why we have to pass in a client actually. I don't know why we designed it this way from the beginning, but okay. So here we will have self, right? No, sorry, this assuming is me, right? Assuming is me. Because we get why we use this actor for? I've seen we were doing a get actor, client get actor, so it's current player. Yeah, it's current player. Okay, I don't know. Maybe we do some checks, some functions, and whatever. So I think that is fine. It is fine. It's fine. We should not return this. We should just return, but this should be placed into our result. So result should be equal to whatever response is. Haha. The point is that here we were returning an NPC response. Interesting. We were returning an NPC response, boys, which is a bit more complex. Because this NPC response, let me go back to my thingy, chat manager, check NPC event. It is also returning an NPC response. So who's calling this? Is calling by this chat NPC. Okay, we take the response and we execute a script on it. because actually the response could be, yes, could be, I mean, actually the response is a script. Could be a script. Could be a script. Like, for example, the NPC giving you an item, the NPC attacking you, the NPC waving, the NPC doing something, right? It's not just text. That's the point. That's the point. So actually, at the moment, we are limiting ourselves a lot if we just return text. I think we will have to do this execute script sooner or later. I don't know when, but I think we have to. We have to do this. We have to do this. So we will not do it now because it takes too much time, and I don't have much time left. But what we can do is actually have 0 time left. That's the problem. But I think that here we should. I will put a you fix me. The response can be an action. In the old PS Code, we were doing this. We were executing the script, right? So now we don't do it, but we will have to do it in the future for sure, because this is where our scripting language start to trigger. Okay, unfortunately I have to go because it's late, my boys, and I have to travel tomorrow, so I have to go. But it's been fun. I think we did good progress overall. Good progress. We also understood how to do this server side part of the talk. We just need a few pieces. I think we are very close to have the answer going back. We are very close. We just need to call this respond and ensure that all the functions that are called by this are actually proper, right? So I will leave it like this. Tomorrow I will not be streaming. Tomorrow evening I will not be streaming. I will be streaming potentially Friday night if I can, or Saturday. Okay, so if we don't see each other before Saturday, then yes, then it will be Saturday. It will be, yeah. If we don't see each other Friday, it will be Saturday. Okay. With that said, I would say have a good one and see you soon. Let me see if I have my goodbye message anywhere. Well, I will just close with the big logo, okay, and some music. See you, boys.